Okay. I am going to swing right into this next episode without pre-planning or anything. So here we go. The Factory Must Grow. From Starter to Megabase, Episode 8. So between episodes, I accumulated some stuff, and then I thought, why don't I go ahead and just drop down the rest of my power plant so we don't have to worry about this. I believe that this power plant, which currently is capable of putting out 144 megawatts with its 160 steam engines, should be enough power to carry us through the launch of the first rocket. And I forgot to do one little thing here, which is in order to support all of that power, we do in fact need to populate the rest of the coal mine. In any case, with this power plant set up and running, we should be able to focus on just getting things built. And my usual disclaimer, I still have not done the math on exactly how many miners are required to handle a full-size power plant like that. The limit that I have checked, what's going on here? There. Oh, these are just stalled in the up position. Okay. The limit that I have checked is that the deep water well can provide enough water exactly for 20 boilers. So it's the same as the offshore pump. So with that in place, we shouldn't have to come back to that area until after we've launched the rocket and we are starting to think about what we want to do for power for the next larger base. By which time there's a very real possibility that I will be converting over to solar. And it is possible that our next visit to that base will be with robots and deconstruction planners. Although it is not my habit so far to deconstruct things. You notice Burner Town is still there. It is quite possible that what I will do is simply shut off the water to it, which I believe, if I do properly, will eliminate the UPS issues. Although UPS from one power plant like that is probably not going to be a major issue. So we'll see. Anyway, so we now have power. We have plenty of power. And our next thing we want to build is Blue Science. We want to build our chemical science. So chemical science requires red chips, which we have. It requires sulfur, which we need to make, and that will come right out of our oil area there. It's going to require water, and it requires engines, and we have everything in this area here is all set up to allow me to very efficiently create a belt with all of the materials for engines. And I am going to give it a little extra space here. I'm going to put our first engine machine down about here. So somewhere along this line. So that's where this needs to come down. I'm going to give it a couple of extra of those. So this is going to make engines. And I'm going to use direct insert of engines into the Blue Science build. Like that. Now, he's got another input also. So Blue Science is require the engines, and it's going to require a belt that has sulfur and advanced circuits on it. And that'll come up there. So here's where these guys come in. Now sulfur, turns out I can just package up some sulfur on the end here. Let's do this. So sulfur requires some petroleum gas, it's going to require some water, and I'm just going to tuck its output right here onto the same belt with plastic, just because that's convenient. Now, as far as water is concerned, we're also going to need water down here. So, yeah, we need one water well, and I don't have one on hand, so let's make one. Now this power pole is in the way of this water guy. So I am going to move things around just a little bit. So bringing those out, we're not going to be using water in these yet. We haven't researched it, but this tells me where I need to put things. So I could just drop this guy in here or in here. That works. So let's get sulfur coming down here. Now I actually want to hold off for just a second here. I need to put in something to get the sulfur off of that line. So let's filter and let's send the plastic to the right. And there's our sulfur. So now we need sulfur and red chips to go on this line. There's several ways we can do this. This is the easy one. It also will limit us to possibly not enough, so let's do that. We'll have to revisit this. Oh heck. Forget it. I don't want to nerf myself right off the top. And here's our output. So this should be 12 machines. Let's check our situation here. Now this says that we actually are going to be producing engines a little faster than we need them. Not a lot, a little bit. We're going to do it one-to-one. I could probably put in some productivity modules or something. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. In terms of basic inserters, notice nobody's coming even close to one, so we don't have to worry about our inserters at all on this. Okay, so there is our setup. Now we're going to need to keep steel going south from here. So, boom. Just like that. And this is our chemical science. Chemical silence. Okay, and these go in really easy, and I round red. So the reason why we want to go chemical next is, from what you see here, the more time we spend laying things out, this is all boring. This is just, human being inserter. Boom. So run these up. Wouldn't it be nice to have robots building all this out for us. So our next goal, with blue science in hand, we're going to be heading towards getting some robots done. Okay, so there's that. And now we can bring these parts. And that was coincidence. That was pure coincidence. At least coincidence on my part. I don't know. Maybe Nephrim's worked out that this was the right width here, and this is the right width here. So this is the same layout that he uses. I've never seen any reason to do anything any differently. Anyway, kind of cute. I no longer have a buffer with the red. Let's put that buffer back in, but I am going to use the mini loaders. Oh yeah, no, let's do it more like what he was doing earlier. I'm going to set up an overflow. So output priority is to the left, and on the right we will use a chute to dump red chips into a box. There we go. There's our overflow. Now we can take this blue science. Now this needs to go all the way down over here. I'm not sure how much more space I'm going to need here for other things. I really don't know. So let's run this down. And I am going to assume that I can come in here. And if we need to move blue science around in the future, we can do that. So blue science will be on the this outboard lane. So with blue science moving, now we can set up our priorities. Obviously, we need advanced oil processing. I always do that first. Even if I don't immediately start shifting over things to advanced oil processing, that's kind of, it's kind of normal. Electric engines, and let's see, robotics and construction robotics. There we go. Anything else I want to toss in here? We do have blue science. I could include logistic robots. Yeah, I'm going to include logistic robots as well. This isn't something you do in a speed run, but if I can have all of my intermediates being delivered to me, and I can have robots keeping me filled up, I will be much happier. This also means that I may want to build a slightly larger robot factory. So when we start working toward there, I may increase the sizes of some things, which very much risks that we may run out of some resources early. We may have some things running short because I'm sending too much to build robots. So I'll have to think about that. I'm going to trim these for the time being. There we go. Okay, so with that in mind, that actually went really quickly, and I'm going to call that a recording so that we can come in fresh for the next phase of this, where we're going to do our speed run to, well, not speed run, our sprint to robots. I want to do it in short bursts so I can make sure each one is right. So I'm going to chop this here, and I will be back with the next stage of moving towards robots.